had a career-ending injury, and then I've been into biotech for 26 years. The VO2Max is the direct corollary to longevity. Essentially, all it is breathing out against resistance. And then that affords you to increase your VO2 max amongst lactate threshold and all plethora of other benefits. I'm 60 years old. I'll be 62 in October, and my VO2 max is 41. It's elite. The University of South Carolina did some research for me. It basically, what we saw was a trend towards people slept better, people were in a better mood, people that used the device appropriately, they had better quality of sleep. My muscles remember how to breathe at that level at 94% resistance. That's one of the things I think that people need to understand is like breathing very deeply, very systematically, very thoroughly is the only way to go. I'm super excited about the opportunity with you guys.
Welcome to the Afluencer podcast. We've got a great episode coming up for you. Health, fitness, longevity, focus influencers, a very cool kind of cutting edge technology we're talking about with Jamie Mueller, a former NFL great and Buffalo Bills legend. So this is a very important podcast for me as well. We're talking about Maximus, which is a product that Jamie developed to help increase, amongst other things, your VO2 max, which is rightfully so, getting a lot of attention today in the scientific community. So we hear longevity, doctors like Dr. Andy Galpin, Dr. Peter Attia talk about VO2 max as being that direct correlator, right, with your longevity and also your health span. So the healthiness of your overall life, right, that quality of life that we're going for. So we're going to talk to Jamie about Maximus, influencer opportunities, and all that good stuff. So Jamie, welcome again. Great to have you on.
Hey, Brett, thank you for having me. And it's fun to be here especially with a fellow Buffalo Bill fan. I know you and your family are big fans, and yeah, it was a great run when I was there. We got to a couple Super Bowls when I was there, and then I had a career-ending injury, and then yeah, but no, it's great to be on. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, and you live forever in the Bills Mafia lore, of course, and Super Tecmo Bowl. You've got the play. Thurman had the 3 runs, and there's the Mueller dive, which I'm sure you're familiar with. So if it was 3rd and 1, you give it to Jamie Mueller for the Tecmo Bowl first down.
Too funny.
So it's still there. So yeah, let's talk about Maximus and actually how you got into it in your career, because you were telling me in kind of our pre-show chat, you get the biotech background, and this is so interesting because I mean VO2 has rightfully taken its place in the spotlight of this longevity and fitness focus, where this is almost the one metric that everyone's trying to optimize, but it's not easy to do so. It's a grind to get those numbers up. I just got my VO2 max checked again every 6 months, and I mean, we're happy with the progress, but it was 43 to 45. So it's a grind to get that up, especially as you get up there in age, right, where you're trying to boost that number, and it's not easy to do. I mean, you're not just hopping on a bike for 2 hours doing like a zone 2 thing. You actually got to push it. So very cool technology. So how'd you get into the biotech side, and then what led you to kind of think like, hey, this I could apply this to maximizing VO2 and all that stuff?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. So I've been into biotech for 26 years, and I was a really good friend of mine. It really interested me in getting into biotech because basically what I learned was there's a lot of representatives out there, field reps, that actually go out and visit with doctors. And I was like, really? I'm like, that doesn't sound right. And so the more I looked into it, I was like, wow, this is really cool. Because I've always been into health and fitness. I've always been into physiology. And so I thought, this would be really cool to get into. And I had a lot of success in doing it and worked my way up to senior VP and multiple companies. And I was chief of staff of the most recent company I was with. And so it was a great foray into learning about even more physiology. And that's where I learned the VO2 max is the direct corollary to longevity. And then I started thinking, well, I wonder if there's a way we can take what I've learned and move into a new product category, which I never knew what hypercapnic training was, and or let alone a device, what it looked like. And essentially, all it is breathing out against resistance. So similar to positive airway pressure, like a CPAP type machine, if you will. You're breathing out versus resistance, but it's a static resistance, right? And so what happens is you build up CO2 in your bloodstream systemically, and then that affords you to increase your VO2 max amongst lactate threshold and all a plethora of other benefits that are available for anybody who's using the device to be able to experience.
So you're doing this during a normal work. Would it be a normal almost hit style or interval, like a maximum type effort, and then you're adding that resistance to it? Or is this more for a steady state? I'm going to run 4 miles, but I'm going to, you know what I mean, add the resistance over a
Yeah,
35, 40 minutes, or is it, hey, I'm doing sprints and I want it at the maximal resistance, or is
yeah.
it all the above?
It's actually all the above. I
Okay,
mean, and we've actually found we had to parse out the data, but we found that people that actually used it for cardiovascular training for, 30, 40, 50 minutes at a time, they had the biggest gains overall in VO2 max. Obviously, if you're not doing cardio, you're probably not going to have a big gain in VO2 max, right?
right.
And now you know, if you do it hit style workouts, which is what I do, my workouts take like literally I can do two body parts in about 6 minutes. So because I don't rest, I just go boom, 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 one to the other. Sometimes I rotate, sometimes I don't, like a push, pull, etc. The benefits are tremendous. Like my VO2 max, I mean, I'm 60 years old. I'll be 62 in October, and my VO2 max is 41. It's elite right
That's
now.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
so, I mean, I'm not using the device that much because once you get there, it's easy to maintain. Like at least for me, it is. So, I think my workouts that I do help with that, as well as the cardio I do. I cycle. I mainly just cycle. I don't really do anything other than that. I don't want to pound my body and my legs any more than they've already been pounded on. So I primarily just cycle for, zone 2, 3, not much zone 4, a little bit, but all that training is incredibly good for you, especially for the VO2 max particular.
And you're using the device for, so from strength as well as cycling
Yeah, yeah,
to
strength
limit the, yeah.
for all my hit
Yeah.
workouts. Sometimes I'll take off. I'll take a day off. I won't use it. But I can tell you that the University of South Carolina did some research for me, and it was a pilot study, so it was a very small number of people in the study. And basically, what we saw was a trend towards people slept better, people were in a better mood, people that used the device appropriately, they had better quality of sleep, and so on and so forth. So it has other benefits, and I think if you think about it, right, what do people tell you? To calm yourself down or to relieve anxiety. It's to breathe very deeply, very diaphragmatically, and so on and so forth. So I think those things are kind of positioned well with this device. A lot of people that I've talked to that have used the device, including some of the folks down at University of South Carolina, they believe that this has the potential, to help people with anxiety as well. Now, we certainly aren't making any claims yet, but I think down the road, if we do some research, that will be the area we look at because so many people are dealing with anxiety today, right? As you know.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the research is finding these metrics are overlapping, I think, between there's the VO2, there's a resting heart rate, there's your CO2 tolerance, right? And then there's your HRV, which everyone seems to agree is important, but they don't know exactly what drives it, right? It's almost like an incidental indicator, but they know that if you can increase your HRV, that tends to be also a good metric, right, for cardiovascular recovery. all those sorts of stuff. Or CO2 used to have the bad rap, right? Where it was, you want to get, I mean, it's probably going old school, but CO2, you want to get rid of it, versus now where actually if you can increase your CO2 tolerance, that seems to be also a beneficial. So have you guys done any studies with your device? I'd be curious because I would assume it would also increase CO2 tolerance and HRV. Have you done any studies yet along those
No,
metrics?
nothing along the HRV angle at this point. But I mean, HRV goes hand in hand with a little bit with VO2
Mhm.
max, as you probably know. And I think at some point, I have a version of this device that is also patented that will allow for like to build an application to give you CO2 sats, O2 sats, et cetera, et cetera. And I think it will also give you real-time lactate thresholds if you had it to, if you could come up with a monitor that's a throwaway, which there are some of those out there. So I think that would be, to me, that would be the holy grail, because everybody knows that breathing drives heart rate. I mean, the heavier you're breathing, the harder you're breathing, the higher your heart rate, right? Now, if you can systematically breathe more thoroughly, more deeply, you're going to slow that heart rate just by virtue of doing that, by slowing your breathing down and more thorough breathing. And that was probably the biggest thing. I think it's one of the hardest things for people to overcome, is to like, you get so many people that are short breathers, and that's just almost like hyperventilation. And so I think people that have a really good deep, really can get into that deep diaphragmatic breathing, like once you have it, like muscle memory is there, and like you don't forget it, and you like. So for me, like I didn't use my device for like a month, and because I was sick and I was dealing with a bunch of stuff and work wise, and anyway, just couldn't do it. And so I was like, geez, I'm gonna take this device out, because I have two devices. I have a pro device and I have a standard device. The standard device starts at 25% resistance and goes up to 75. The pro device starts at 75 and goes to 94% resistance. And if you told me when I first was started developing this product that I would be using it at 94% resistance, I would say there's no way. It's impossible. But that's like what I do religiously, and it doesn't matter. My muscles remember how to breathe at that level at 94% resistance. And so I think that's one of the things I think that people need to understand, is like breathing very deeply, very systematically, very thoroughly is the only way to go.
That sounds like a huge resistance. I mean, that's pretty wild. 25% sounds like a lot to
Yeah,
me
well,
off the cuff. Just
yeah, it's funny. It's funny because people will buy this device and they'll be like, "Yeah, I didn't notice any resistance." And it's like, "Okay, well, did you work out while you were wearing it, and did you breathe only through the device?" Because I mean, it's like anything. If you don't use it properly, you're not going to gain the benefits.
Mhm.
You have to breathe through the device,
And
and
is this covering the nose and mouth or just the nose?
no, it's just the mouth.
Oh,
Right?
wow. Okay. Got it.
So
Okay.
so
Yeah.
it fits in your
Mouth.
mouth.
Yeah. Okay.
So I mean, it's and it allows for people, if they are having a problem, like to breathe through the nose if they absolutely need to, right?
Yeah. I gotcha. Yeah.
But you got to train yourself to breathe through the device only.
Yeah. I
And
gotcha. So you're going in and out through the mouth through the device, which is basically a kind of a mouthpiece type of.
exactly,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Yep, and that's what it's designed for, is to breathe in and out of. But yeah, it's been a circuitous route to get to where I'm at right now, but it's really cool to start working with influencers and 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 especially those that are really into fitness. So I'm super excited about the opportunity with you guys.
Yeah. That's great. When did you launch the store? When did you go to market online? I know you have a Shopify store. When did you get all
Yeah,
that stuff going?
yeah. So we started like December of 21, but it was then I went back to work in 2020, it was actually early 22, right? And so I spent 2 years kind of like not really paying much attention to the device, right? And so I mean, it's a huge lift from an education perspective, and so I think that's one thing I've absolutely learned. But people that get it, I mean, they completely understand that they will never change what they do because they know the benefits of this device are just way too great to pass up. Um, but but yeah, so really, I would say we really didn't launch until last year, till 24
Mhm.
because I was too busy back at as chief of staff working for a biotech company, and then not after that, after I left, then I kind of went back full time into this, and haven't looked back since.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, no, getting rid of the day job's huge to be
Yeah, right.
focus full time on it. Yeah, it seems like with fitness, health, I mean, a lot of it is self-directed people looking for their own knowledge. Like I feel like think about like something like the Huberman podcast. I mean, that was I mean, that was all word of mouth in terms of spread where I went to my, mobility guy. He writes down, he's like, you got to listen to this thing, right? And he puts it on the pot on the sticky note and hands it to you. It's Huberman podcast, right? And then
Yeah,
a lot of the VO2 stuff. Peter Attia's book, I feel like that's something again, you heard that through those channels. You would hear Attia maybe on Huberman's podcast, but you learn about this stuff through the experts in the field versus it's not a mainstream media thing, I think, in terms of health, because I think we've all realized that mainstream media does a terrible job of covering this stuff. So it's really through these channels, the podcasts, like you said, social media. I mean, all these guys are on Instagram in terms of, and then that's kind of how you communicate is through the followers.
yeah, 100%. I mean, it's really interesting to me because obviously Atia, I think it's his. Does he have two books out? I can't remember if he's just has the one longevity or
There's kind of that longevity Bible, right? Was the last one. I
okay,
don't
yeah.
remember if he did. Yeah, I don't remember if there was one before. There's
Okay,
that.
yeah.
That's the one where if you walk into any Dexafit or that's where I got my VO2 measured. It's. I mean, it is like the Bible. It's just there on the. It's there on
Oh,
the
so
front.
so Dexa does your VO2?
Dexa does a VO2.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool. I didn't
yeah.
know they did
Or at
that.
least our local one here does. Yeah,
Oh, cool. I have
yeah.
to, we have one just down the street. I'll have to go check it out.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, they might be able to do it. And the process reminds me a little what you're describing with your device because they throw, and I guess it's common. I mean, it's the only time I ever wear the mask though, because they throw the mask on you and they just have you do the treadmill, and every 2 minutes it goes up at an incline. It's not going that fast. It's a 12-minute mile, but they just
So
keep
it's so
jacking.
it's the old Bruce test, the Bruce treadmill test.
Oh, is that right? Okay, every 2 minutes, just
Yeah, yeah,
pop it up. Yeah,
yeah,
okay, yeah.
yeah.
And
That
it's wild because you walk in, it's the morning, you're not warmed up, and then 11 minutes later, I'm ripping the mask off when I'm done.
yeah, right.
You're toast.
Okay, you're pretty much burning too much. I'll tell you a quick story. So this is similar to a Bruce protocol test, but not quite. Okay, and when I say not quite, so there's a poor man's lactate threshold test you can do. And it's basically how long can you go at 95% plus of your max heart rate? So 95% max heart rate or above, for how long can you cycle, whatever, run, blah, blah, blah. I mean, you'd have to be running at a really good clip to be able to
Get to
keep
95, right? Yeah.
that. So anyway, so I did a cycling. So I warmed up on the cycle. I do all road biking and on the trails.
Mhm.
And basically, what I did was I did a warm up, got my heart rate up, and then I did I did a warm up cycle. Then I did. They're both on Polar using the Polar zone training, and basically then I stopped the pre workout and then I went full on into 90, 95, 96, 97% max heart rate for a full 46 minutes before I had to back it down. And I still had room in the tank, a little bit of gas in the tank. I probably could have gone if I had to. I probably could have gone another 10 minutes. And I was kind of blown away because I'm like,
Awesome.
how am I able to do this? And it's all because of my VO2 max was so outrageously high at that time. I think it was at 47, because I was training and I was doing all kinds of stuff because I was trying to prove this out. And yeah, so it's been pretty crazy, man. It's been a fun ride, and it's just I think I really believe in this will be part and parcel to working out. And no matter what your workouts are, I mean, because people do all different types of workouts, but this will be something that if people are serious about training, that this will be part and parcel to it.
Makes sense. Why wouldn't you want to get VO2 max gains? I assume CO2 tolerance gains while you're working out. So Jamie, I assume this is people can order this individually, the
Yeah, yeah.
Maximus. Okay.
Yeah.
What's the cost on it?
$59, and then there's the Pro is 69, and
Yeah, very reasonable.
there's a bundle people can buy for 99, which is a great deal.
Oh,
But
nice. Yeah.
for what this offers, users, it's been pretty fun ride so far.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And then are you doing any referral programs for trainers, fitness instructors who, I assume would be interested in, hey, because we've got our individual fitness enthusiasts, people like myself, who are like, hey, I can order, for myself for the bundle. Also, there's the trainers who, hey, I want to get everyone on this, right? And
Yeah,
I want to let them know about it. And anything you're
yeah,
doing today to work with the trainers and influencers, right, on the fitness side.
yeah. I'm just starting to go down that road with some of the fitness trainers. I've got a guy out of Michigan he does a great job. It's called Alpha, and he's on social media quite a bit. He wants to definitely get my product in there, but he's been using it himself personally, trying to vet it out, and he's really impressed with the results he's receiving. So yeah, but I'm just going down that road right now. So
Yeah, very cool. Sounds good. Yeah. So if it's something you want to take advantage of, you can, for the influencers who you work with through us, you can send them the product also
oh,
through there. So,
absolutely,
and the messages, you can just kind of send it out to them if that's something that
100%.
makes sense. Yeah, because it would be great to get the content out there on the video stories of people using it as they train. I mean, it feels like this is something that just people just need to know about, and it's kind of a no-brainer, as you said, from a training standpoint, because that VO2, that's the gold standard, but I mean, it's a tough one to chase because you got to be pounding away at maximum levels to get there to move the needle on
Yeah,
that metric.
100%. And you're right. I think it's just getting the word out on it. It's going to take a little bit of time, but once people experience what I've experienced personally, I mean, like 47 is pretty outrageous for a VO2 max. Now, it's not that now. It's still 41, which is still elite, but 47 is crazy. That's about the time when I did that lactate threshold test. Now, we didn't do any lactate, pulls or anything like that, but suffice to say, 46 minutes at 96% max heart rate is pretty strong.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and that
I wish I would have had this back when I played, because I really believe it would. I don't think I would have had the injury that I had, and nor would I have left the game early.
yeah, the recovery would have been so having that recovery aspect is so huge. Especially, football's kind of that. I mean, it's always speed and power that's kind of emphasized, but having that cardio base was, I think, historically it's been underappreciated.
Yeah,
Right? It
100%.
seems like where we're now even strength focused, no matter what your sport is, even if it's weightlifting, that there is a very important cardio aspect to that recovery. Where, hey, if you've got an elite VO2, it's going to help you even if you're a power lifter, right? Through the
100%.
weightlifting
Yeah.
metrics.
Yeah, there's no question. And that's been proven. And then the breathing aspect, just the deep diaphragmatic breathing is going to help people recover so much better as well. And I think that's something that can't really be that sure should be highlighted, right? Because it's really important.
Yeah, recovery is something that uh, really didn't get paid attention to for so long, and now it's coming to the forefront of. It's not just the training. I mean, recovery is just as important as the training because if you don't recover, you don't get the adaptation from the training. So you can you can pound your body, but if there's no recovery, then it doesn't make the adaptations, right?
Exactly. 100%, 100%. And you know, the CO2 max or I'm sorry, the CO systemic CO2 elevation, uh, I mean, you know, that also increases your mitochondrial density as well as numbers.
Oh, is that
And
right? Okay.
yeah, which is
Yeah.
crazy, right? You
Yeah,
think
that's
about
wild.
if you look at all the list that's in the profile there of all the things that this thing has does that have been documented, it's pretty crazy. And then really the only thing different about my device than just a straight hypercapnic training device is is that I didn't feel like having a device that just gave you expiratory resistance, meaning breathing out, was sufficient. I thought if you're going to do this, you should have something that's going to give you both the
Mhm.
inspiratory inhalation as well resistance. So it's a dual resistance technology, which I think is it really in hindsight, you know, everything looks great in hindsight, but or not, but it's been really, I'm really happy that I did that because it's the only device out there that you can actually use during exercise that is designed for use during exercise that has dual resistance, you know, for inspiratory and expiratory training.
And then can you dial that resistance on each? So and then you're dialing it from the 25% up to the 75 on the one, and then
Yeah,
potentially up to the 94.
yeah. It's really easy to dial up. It's got
Oh
clicks,
yeah.
little.
Okay. Yeah.
It's got 5 clicks that you can go,
There you
and
go. Yeah.
but it's yeah, it's the next device will be a dual device, which will have both. The valve will be a little bit different, so I can basically we'll have 10 clicks on it, and that will give you basically the standard plus the pro device all in one unit, which I think is eventually where we'll get to.
Yeah. Very cool. Well,
Yeah.
Jamie, I could talk to you all day about this, but let me get the plug in for the influencers here. So we'll get the link to your collab below in the show notes. So our fitness, health, longevity influencers, just scroll down. You can click that, and then Jamie will review your application. Hopefully, we can get you introduced that way. Can you talk anything I missed on the collab opportunity, Jamie? And then also just how influencers and general fitness enthusiasts and everyone who wants to learn more about Maximus can find you and follow you here.
Yeah. I mean, we're Maximus Fitness Accelerator on Instagram. We've got a YouTube channel, Train Maximus. We've got pretty much all the social media. X, we have Train Maximus as well. So yeah, I mean, people can contact me. However, I mean, I'm very accessible, and info at Train Maximus is probably the most ideal because I get that every morning in my email box. But if people want to text me too, that's fine as well. I mean, the people in the collab should have my cell phone number, and that's a way to get a hold of me as well.
Very cool. Well, we appreciate you coming on and explaining the technology is very cool. The science is awesome, and looking forward to helping spread the word about Maximus because this, I'm with you. Sounds like no brainer from a training standpoint. I mean, this is what everyone should be chasing. Is just that higher VO2 just makes everything better. There's no reason not to go for it. And then you're training anyway, whether you're lifting, cycling like you're doing, or you know, I'm out there playing basketball. I mean, there's stuff to you want to add that resistance aspect to it with the CO2, and that makes it's very cool. Yeah, appreciate you taking us through all the science today, Jamie.
Yeah, 100%, man. And if you want me to send you one, just text me your address and I'll get you one out.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, love to.
All
Yeah, we'll get that on the influencer feed. Me with
right,
the
brother.
Maximus. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Bill's
Sounds
hat, of
good.
course.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Cheers.
Awesome. Thanks again, Jamie.
You got it, brother.